Welcome to the virtual exhibit of the Audi Grandsphere concept. Here we're going to showcase to you all the various design details from inside and outside of the car. Jason, we worked on the exterior together.
Yeah, Amar, it was a great synergy between the two of us, as well as our other colleagues in Audi Design, and I think that really shows in the final product.
And Alex, you were part of the interior team for the car.
Yeah, exactly. Being part of the interior design team who worked on that concept, today is my pleasure to present the interior. But guys, before we take a look at the interior design, let's start with the exterior.
So you may be wondering how we chose to do the reveal of the Audi Grandsphere, and we wanted to do a deep dive into the philosophy, so we do it totally virtually.
This virtual exhibit really allows us a progressive way to highlight some of the key design features of the Grandsphere's design.
And I think this view is actually the perfect view to start with because it tells the complete story about the exterior design.
Yeah, the exterior design actually starts from the interior. So this idea of first-class travel is something that really gave us the base for which we could wrap our exterior around.
Exactly. So the first-class row is in the front, and therefore in the rear we could just have a lounge, and that meant for us that we could do a coupe-like body. And this coupe-like body sits on this really generous, muscular architecture, but it's not overbodied, it's quite tight on the car.
Yeah, the proportions were really key on this car. So a D-segment car, but having a very different architecture in the cabin allowed us to have also a different architecture on the body. So something very fluid, very generous, and actually very sporty in the end.
That's right. And I think our philosophy from the beginning was always to be very true to the history of the brand, true to what this car represents, true to the zeitgeist. And that meant also our decisions on the car had to be quite correct. For example, we have our UFO line, which travels around the entire car. And this really is the basis for our exterior design.
Yeah, this is a pretty unique line that really defines the car, lengthens the car, but also splits the volumes. So we have an upper volume that is very much focused on the cabin, and then the lower volume that is keeping everything very grounded and very sporty at the same time.
So this cabin concept was actually causing a lot of problems for us, a lot of issues. Maybe you can explain a little bit how we solved it.
Yeah, we had to deal with a larger volume in the front of the cabin. And what we did is we tried to stretch the bonnet, so we still wanted to convey this GT proportion. So the bonnet really wraps around and is lengthened into the mirror, which dives directly into the A-post, which is a lot further back than the front volume of the cabin. So this really combines this GT aesthetic with, let's say, a new proportion.
And when you read that point of the break in the glass coming to the wing mirror and then so much volume ahead of that, that's what's giving this really spherical effect for the interior. I think what's helping a lot for this car is the extreme angles at the front and the back. This is creating a really cool dynamic to help offset this large cabin.
Yeah, the car has a lot of direction while still remaining quite level to the ground with this UFO line. Keeps it very long and sleek.
Yeah. And then this baseline, again, helping to rebalance everything.
Yeah, the baseline coming from the front, sweeping back to the rear. It's really integrating all this elements and all this balance that we wanted to convey.
That's right. Let's take a look at the front. So the front end design of this car, I mean, with the UFO line, we had the opportunity to really separate all the elements and create a new order and a new hierarchy.
Yeah, this allowed us to place the headlights, which also convey our new signature eye, above this UFO line. So giving them some importance, giving them room to breathe and balance, and allowing us to also put the single frame, the Audi single frame, below this UFO line. So a new architecture and hierarchy.
And what I'm really happy about as well is how we've captured the essence of traditional Bauhaus thinking and integrated it into our shut lines, into the headlamps. The volumes and everything are resolved in the most logical and clean way as possible.
Yeah, and everything on the front has room to breathe. So you have a nice design element that's linking lines, but also a lot of movement with the Quattro blisters, a lot of movement on the bonnet that gives a real clean appearance and also, again, helps to stretch the car. So the most important part of any Audi are the Audi rings. And with this clean sheet design, we were really able to think about how to place these rings proudly on the bonnet and integrate them into the design and have them very clean.
So the rings are position 1, and in position 2, we have the Audi single frame. We wanted to keep the Audi single frame on this car to integrate the sensors and lighting technology and make sure that when people see this car, they recognize it as an Audi.
Yeah, the single frame is something that's very iconic, but also iconic for Audi has always been lighting. And the new signature eye that we introduced on the Grandsphere really shows this really premium approach to having a graphic that is actually derived from the Audi rings, that is really strong and really iconic.
And I think sticking with this logical approach to the car design, the cohesive way that we tied everything together, we decided to take the exact same graphic and put it on the back of the car. And also with the rear rings, they have the exact same treatment, mirroring the front. So I think now we have a very powerful and unified design. Now let's talk about the rear end. Again, the most powerful view of this car. All of the lines are flowing to the rear. All of that surface energy is coming around to the back, creating a very strong, dynamic and GT character.
Yeah, and all of that power, as you mentioned, is really pulling back, but it has to also be balanced. And the way we did that was having a really prominent diffuser. And electric mobility, we know, is going to be a challenge, and airflow is one of the ways that we can sort of command and dominate with that and overcome that challenge. And that diffuser really represents that. So really strong, prominent diffuser, really showing the intention of airflow.
So I think that concludes our talk for the exterior design of this car. Now I would like to introduce Alex Bart. He will explain the interior design of this concept car.
Thank you, Emma and Jason. The interior of the Grandsphere is especially designed for the automated driving on level 4. That gave us the opportunity to create a completely new operation concept. The main intention here was to create a frameless design. There is no permanent steering wheel, and there are no classical screens that can limit you. Instead of a traditional dashboard, we create a huge projection stage made of wood. The first magic moment when you enter the car, the Grandsphere welcomes you with your handwriting and your travel route. To interact with the user interface, we use several methods: eye tracking, speech control, touch and gesture. It happens in a simple and intuitive way. When you think of luxury, one important feature is simply space. For this purpose, we designed the Audi Grandsphere from inside out. The wooden surface which surrounds you creates a lot of space and a feeling of a cozy living room, a private sphere for yourself. The result is a cabin that offers tremendous space and totally new options to spend time during a journey. Space means pure luxury, especially when you drive long distances. The generous portal doors give the passengers comfortable access to this private space. The Audi Grandsphere offers you many opportunities to relax and enjoy the ride. Let's have a look in detail. The most comfortable seats are now those in the front row. They are designed to perform in drive, entertain, and relax position. We have privacy sound in the headrest and an air purifier in the upper backrest. The driver's seat is no longer just a working space. The passengers in the first row can move into permanent relax mode. Without the steering wheel, you can watch movies or just enjoy the ambient projection. I love the totally new entertainment features and the revolutionary control elements. The new MMI touchless response allows you to set up your personal comfort zone. Here you can adjust your seat, temperature and the ambient light. In the relaxed position you can't reach the MMI touchless response. And this is where the eye tracking and gesture control can shine. You simply look at the MMI touchless response and select the function with a gesture. Now, this is the moment when the driver takes control. You activate the steering wheel via eye tracking and pull it out with a gesture. The steering wheel and our virtual cockpit are now an integrated combination. No matter if you like to drive by yourself or just want to travel first class, the Audi Grandsphere gives you all the opportunities based on the level 4 automated driving option. This means a new dimension in comfort while getting to your destination. While traveling, you also have a high-class bar for refreshments. The Audi Grandsphere is your private jet for the road. You sit in the first class, in the first row, and enjoy a new dimension of luxury. The car gives you the freedom to choose between driving by yourself or just let the car bring you to your destination. You can relax, communicate, getting entertained, or simply watch the landscape. That's what we call luxurious traveling of the future. The new Audi Grandsphere concept.
Mark, as the designer of this wow car, help me, please.
Of course, will be a pleasure. Stephen, electrification opens up completely new possibilities for vehicle design. We are using these possibilities to create new interiors, which will be this room, the space for unique experiences enabled by digitization. That's why all concept cars carry sphere in their name. That said, we still have these breathtaking proportions that are typically Audi, such as the elongated front, the short overhang, or the super fast roofline. And the 4 muscles on top of all 4 wheels as a nod to Quattro.
Thank you, Mark. Hendrik, how is all that space or sphere being filled?
Simply with experiences. Technology and in particular digitalization enable us to create unique experiences while being on the move. With the Grandsphere concept, the experience already begins when you approach the car. The feature is called priority boarding. The car recognizes the gate of its owner and provides a seamless experience when getting in with a personalized welcome.
Welcome. Here is an overview of your trip.
Also, the personal settings and the applications are loaded for each of the passengers, or I would rather say users.
This interior is nothing short of a revolution. The possibilities of automated driving gives us a new freedom when designing interior spaces. Welcome to the lounge. That's the Grandsphere concept. We have achieved a clean and elegant look by projecting the interface and using virtual animations.
How about some music, gentlemen?
Yes.
To select an option on the interface, I simply look at the menu icon.
And then you confirm it with a touch on this touch-sensitive area here. Let's make you a little bit more comfortable.
That's even better.
In this relaxed position, the first-class seats use the internal speakers for individual sound zones, as well as sense to support your well-being from these vents over there. To make adjustments while relaxing, you don't even have to touch the control knob anymore. You just look at it and control it by a simple gesture. The driver could now adjust the temperature or the lighting and feel even more comfortable in this relaxed position.
Gentlemen, that sounds great. Looks amazing. But what if I just want to drive the car?
Easier done than said, Stephen. Back into drive position, just one gesture. And we are ready to roll. Welcome to the future. Want to jump in, Stephen?
I'd love to. I'd really, really love to. But first, I would like our audience to meet the developers behind the Grandsphere concept.
There's a new link between exterior and interior design. We are now designing much more inside out. So we are not breaking with visual traditions, but we are opening new perspectives.
Thanks to digitalization, the car becomes a second living space, a sphere where our users can use their time to work, socialize or relax.
The digital assistant of the car knows the passengers. It knows their habits, their wishes, and combines this knowledge with information from the internet and the car environment.
So with the new architecture of Grandsphere's exterior design, we enabled our colleagues to create new experiences inside the car.
In case of the Audi Grandsphere, we designed individual zones. This way, each passenger can have his own experience space.
The passenger's digital ecosystems are seamlessly integrated into the car to make use of the technology of the interior.
In case you want to work, the projection displays, your surround zone, the lighting and interior camera are used to bring in-car video conferencing to a whole new level.
It offers new immersive in-car possibilities, addressing all the senses, using light, sound and even fragrance for entertainment, health and education.
Using data, we advance the functions and update them in the vehicle so the customer gets an optimized experience every time he gets into his Audi.
The Audi Grandsphere is the most capable and fascinating experience device ever. Fully electric, automated, intelligent and highly immersive. It is truly the next game changer in the automotive industry.
Forward thinkers indeed. And now it's my great pleasure to welcome somebody who knows more about the future products of Audi. Here's Dr. Christiane Zorn.
Hi, Steven.
Very nice to meet you. You are the head of Audi's product marketing and therefore deeply involved in Audi's future product portfolio. Christiane, what's in the cards for Audi?
As with all concept cars, the Grandsphere concept is an outlook on our future product portfolio. It gives you an idea which technologies we could introduce over the next years.
Can you give us an example? I mean, what are we going to see on the road?
We are planning to introduce the seamless integration of the customer's digital ecosystems. Starting with our next battery electric Audi, for example, the customers can bring their favorite apps into the car. No smartphone needed. The development team is working on a wide range of interfaces. Mark and Henrik just demonstrated the controls of the Grandsphere concept. The concierge control knob will eventually make it into production.
Now, Christiane, the powertrain of the Audi Grandsphere is electric. Does that mean premium mobility is sustainable?
We've clearly committed ourselves to electric mobility. And it's not just our cars that will be more and more sustainable, as Hildegard said. We are following a holistic approach. From the supply chain through to the second life of our cars, it's our goal to make high-class mobility carbon neutral on balance.
Thanks for giving us an idea of what will come, Christiane.
You are welcome, Steven.
As a designer, working on such a car is a dream, first of all. We don't compare with anybody else. We wanted to be really sure that our vision is ours alone. The proportions is the base for everything. It's number one. An aliveness, somehow an organic nature to the car, which makes it, linked to the past, but also take a step bravely into the future. The wheels look tight on the car. The body and the muscles, everything is compact. Very, very long wheelbase, short overhang in the front, long one in the back, and a very, very, very long Y0 for the cabin. But we made a trick to extend the front front fenders to the side of the car. So optically, you have the feeling of a GT car, but in real, it's a limousine. For sure, there is a central line which runs around the entire car, and this is the key from the architecture. Everything works from this line as a basis point. But what we were careful to do is make sure there was the space and the air around each element to breathe. For example, the headlamps has its own volume where it can work, or the C-post has the chrome running into the C-post, and then this volume is being created. So we didn't want to confuse and make too much visual noise on the exterior design. The architecture should be so simple and pure that they make complete sense, and from the first moment that you see it, you understand it. Design makes no compromises. So if something isn't working, we throw it out straight away. If it's not magic, it doesn't stay. There was a feeling amongst our team that when something isn't right and we don't feel like there is magic in the thing that we just did, it's out immediately. So we really wanted to take this car and use it as a platform to express what modern luxury can mean in the future. It really is a dream for a designer to be able to express the essence of Audi in this way. We could not have asked for a better team, a better flow of working. Everything was so organic, it was top.
Welcome. Here is an overview of your trip. For takeover. Manual mode activated.